in the liberal arts. And this is so, so important to us. My name is Evelyn Castro, and I'm the Dean of the School of Professional and Community Development. This is a very strong department. It's a department, if you're in liberal arts, it can leverage you into so many very important and meaningful fields: social work, law, English, journalism, even medicine, because it gives you a broad background, and then you can find your niche, especially in a time when people need people. We're in the middle of a pandemic, and so many of the people who will solve the problems of what we're in now with COVID-19 are coming out of the liberal arts discipline. So it's my honor to introduce Dr. Fabian Snowden, who is part of the social work department. And in a moment, you'll also hear from Dr. Ethan Goligar, who's the dean of the School of Liberal Arts and a psychologist. So Dr. Snowden, could you begin for us, please? Thank you.
Good afternoon and good day. Thank you so much for attending, and thank you so much for your interest in Medgar Evers. Medgar Evers is always my first choice, but it's a little different for me. I'm so glad that you're here. So we have myself, as Dean Castro has introduced me. I'm a full-time faculty member with the social work department, and I love my job and I love my work. Some of my background is I've done international social work. I'm currently the field education director for the social work department. And I've also worked with adolescents and teens, again, both domestic in the US and also internationally. I'm going to turn it over to each one of our panelists for them to introduce themselves and give a very brief description of their background and their work. Thank you. Whichever panelist would like to go first.
Hello, my name is DJ. I'm a psych major at Medgar. I'm a senior full-time. And I am interested in going into forensic psychology in the future because I want to be a counselor for children in juvenile detention centers.
Excellent. Thank you, DJ.
Welcome.
Okay, can everyone hear me okay?
Yes, thank you.
Hi. Okay, hello everyone. My name is Leona. I am an alumna of Medgar Evers College, class of 2014. I had graduated with a bachelor's in psychology and a background in education. Since then, I've gone on to pursue mental health counseling, where I got my master's in, and I'm doing quite a bit with that. I am a mental health therapist in the evenings and a resident behavior specialist during the day, and I really love what I do. Thank you for having me, everyone.
Excellent. We're so glad that you can join.
Thank you.
Okay, so I think it's just us three panelists. Is that correct, Javier? Okay.
Yes, it is for now. There, Dr. Gallagher is going to join briefly.
All right. Dean Castro, is there anything that you'd like to add about your role at the college before I go to each of the panelists to speak on the importance of liberal education?
Yes, there is something. I didn't really say my background, and my background is that I am a former superintendent of schools in this area, so I know the importance of the psychologists, the social workers, the educators. I was a principal of two schools, both 308 in Brooklyn and the Hunter College Campus School. I've served as director of early childhood for the New York City Public Schools, as well as a vice president of the superintendent's organization for New York City and New York State on the governor's panel for ways we can improve the lives of children in New York State altogether. So I'm very, very honored to be with this group. I think this, when I heard Leona speak, and also the young lady who's a student right now, it seems that we are all focused on service, just as you are, Dr. Snowden, and I have a particular interest in international education because we're all part of the diaspora. So thank you for letting me say that. I can't wait to hear what you guys are going to be talking about for our students that are thinking about this discipline. Thank you.
Wonderful, and thank you so much, Dean Castro, because you're definitely one of the phenomenal individuals whose shoulders I stand on. So thank you. So what we'll be talking about in this webinar, we'll be answering we'll primarily be answering three questions. One, why a liberal studies education? Two, why a liberal studies education at Medgar? And three, what has a liberal studies education done for the panelists and the people that are presenting at this webinar? So panelists, the first question is, actually, Javier, is it possible to ask the attendees a question?
Yes.
Yes,
Yes,
they can type their questions, yeah.
You said I can type the questions or I can just ask?
You can see the question, they can type the answers.
Perfect. Yep. So attendees, my question for you is, which question would you like to hear first? Would you like to hear how a liberal arts education has benefited the panelists first? Would you like to hear why a liberal arts education in the first place first? Or would you like to hear why a liberal arts studies education at Medgar first? We're going to get to all three, or where would you like to start? I'll give a couple of seconds for some answers. So Javier, you're saying that I would see the answers pop up in my chat on my screen?
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay.
I don't see any yet.
I'm not seeing any yet either. So if I were a student, which I am, I'm a lifelong student of life. Oh, okay, I'm starting to see some.
Okay,
Panelists, welcome. Well, I'm sorry, attendees, welcome, and thank you so much for coming. Okay. So the question I'm seeing in terms of where folks would like to study, the first question I saw is why Medgar? Why is Medgar a great place to start, especially if there are people coming with multiple choices? So that goes to the third question. Why Medgar for a liberal arts degree? Panelists?
Hi, I'm gonna speak on my experience first, and hopefully it would help answer the question. So I started Medgar in the fall of 2011. I'm sorry if you hear my bird in the background. um, but I started my degree in the fall of 2011. And when I first started Medgar, I started as strictly, before I even went into psychology, as a liberal arts major. And what benefited me from being a liberal arts major was how well-rounded the degree is. Like Dr. Castro stated earlier, the liberal arts degree I see is well-rounded, meaning that as an incoming freshman, I think it's a great choice to get into, like a great choice to start with, because you can get your feet wet, especially if you're undecisive, as many freshmen are coming into college. And specifically at Medgar, because Medgar is seen as like a community of students and it's very small, so you're able to connect with a lot more people on a deeper level and a personal level to get the proper guidance that you need to make an option. And being a liberal arts major at Medgar, it makes you feel welcomed, and it alleviates the pressure of having to make a decision um, right away, because you're able to get your feet wet in different topics. um, and also I believe that being a liberal arts major, specifically when you're taking these classes will eventually make you understand how they relate to one another, so that you can ultimately make a decision afterwards.
Thank you, DJ.
You're welcome.
If I may, I would just like to piggyback off of what DJ said. Can everyone hear me okay?
Yes.
Yes, I too second the notion that with Medgar, it's like a family feeling. It's a small community. And I used to like to joke that I should be like the poster girl for Medgar because I went to the high school, which enabled me to take college credits when I was still in school. And then I just kind of was able to transition easily into Medgar Evers College, where I had a lot of support. I was fortunate to be a part of the SEEK department. I always like to give credit to the SEEK. They provided financial and emotional and educational assistance. And I really thank the staff there who truly treated me like I was, part of their own, even when I was very young and unsure of what I wanted to do. And then I was grateful to have been a part of the writing workshop where I worked for a bit, and I helped other people with their writing skills, and they have since evolved and they have gone on to do a lot of great things. So I'm glad that there was a lot of opportunities. I participated in the Psych Club for a bit, and even with Dean Mulligore and the department, the psyching team for the marathon, the New York City Marathon. So I've had a lot of great experiences and opportunities, and I feel like Medgar doesn't get enough attention or credit that it deserves. There's if you give it a chance, a lot of opportunities that people can really benefit from. So I just wanted to point that out.
Right. Thank you, Leona. Thank you. Dean Castro, is there anything that you'd like to add?
Well, I think one of the things I'd like to add, I really appreciate what DJ said and also what Leona said. The idea, I do have my own children who are Medgar alumni. And one of them, he studied in the School of Business, but he really wanted to do law. And right now he's a practicing assistant district attorney, and he went to Medgar. And one of the things that I learned from him is that if he was in the School of Liberal Arts, maybe studying English, that would have strengthened him as he pursued law. And people don't make that connection, that in the School of Liberal Arts, law, and also in the district attorney's office, there is a social work arm, because many of the problems of society end up in, because of things that people are missing. Right now, when we look at the pandemic, many people of color are getting it because of poor health or the health disparity that it happens in the country. And so, and in listening to Leona, the idea that she did go to Medgar Evers Prep High School because Dr. Crew, our president, also sees a connection between the high school system, and I also have family members in Medgar Evers Prep High School. And so she's a true scholar if she went through that program and then came into Medgar Evers. The other positive thing that DJ spoke about is the small size of the school. Our school is less than 6,000 students. So people really get to know you. You really get to participate. You're part of a family. You're part of a nurturing group of people that help you find your passion in the academics and in the disciplines. With the faculty, we have wonderful faculty like Dr. Snowden and Dr. Golagar, and even our own Dean Holly Jones, who was in psychology. Those and Dr. Lashley, wonderful teachers who really love the discipline, love service, and also have an international perspective because we have students from all over the world. My experience later on at Columbia was being a Fulbright scholar, being offered that, and it really helps you to relate better to all the people you're meeting, especially in a city like New York, right? So I just really appreciate what Leona's answer was and DJ's answer. So thank you for letting me respond to them.
Indeed, and of course. So I'm happy to go last on this. So why Medgar? Quite frankly, because there's no other institution like it. Medgar is the only CUNY, the only school in CUNY that is deliberately a predominantly Black and Brown institution. Medgar's history is that it was started as a means of social justice to address a need within the community. Now, of course, this rings true for me, and of course, this is very moving for me because I'm a social worker, right? And social justice is a core component to social work. But Medgar as an institution was established by the surrounding community, and that's exactly what social change should be, started by the surrounded community. Also at Medgar, and I've had the chance to be at various institutions, Medgar is my favorite because of the dedication of the staff. The dedication of the staff, the dedication of pretty much everyone at Medgar is find a way to make a way. But when you think about it, and when I think about it, this is the legacy of this institution. The institution was started from a find a way to make our tax dollars serve our needs. And when I say our, I mean anybody and everybody that's a part of Medgar. So, and that's something that I've not found at any other institution, both throughout the United States and also internationally. So this is why Medgar is a great place to start, especially for people with multiple choices. I think there's really only one choice, Medgar, but again, that's me. I'm coming from a little bit of a different perspective. So the next question, which is also one of the three questions, is why a liberal arts degree? Why a liberal arts degree? Fellow panelists, who would like to take this one first?
I think I would like to jump on this first. I've been waiting for this question.
Thank you, Leona.
I personally feel like a degree in the liberal arts umbrella has prepared me not only to make a living, but also to make a life that has, I guess, taught me critical thinking, communication, creative problem solving, self-expression. I mean, it sounds like a bunch of things that you throw out, but for me, it's a little bit of everything. Personally, my major was in psychology, and when I've gone on to learn that there's psychologists everywhere. There's psych and law, there's psych and religion, there's industrial psychology. You just need to know how to communicate with people and to relate to others on an emotional and fundamental level. And just having that basic skill is very important. Even if you're a doctor and you don't know how to communicate or to relate to your patients, what good are you really? You know, even if you're a lawyer and not being able to relate to your clients or to appease the audience or to just being able to communicate, that's very, very important. There's so much you can learn. It's a broad umbrella, but it gives you a little bit of everything. Even in medicine, which was previously mentioned. So it's important to think about that you can learn so much more, a little bit of everything.
Right. Thank you, Leona.
Yes, and to piggyback off of what Jonas said, I would also say that having a liberal arts degree is very beneficial, because it does keep you well-rounded, especially like I mentioned before, if you're an incoming freshman or even a transfer student coming into Medgar. And you know, the fact that Medgar has like a tight-knit community, and you know, so the staff is able to provide you with the support and resources that you need to make an ultimate decision. And especially if you start with a liberal arts degree at Medgar, it's an opportunity for you to get your feet wet in case you are indecisive, because having a liberal arts degree keeps you well-rounded, because you are able to touch a little bit of everything and realize that a lot of the degrees out here, like psychology, and me being a psychology major, it has helped me understand people a lot more. It has helped me to communicate better amongst the staff and faculty. And me as a graduating senior, I feel well prepared to go into grad school because I have those skills. I was able to develop those skills being at Medgar in order to, you know, um, in order for me to start thinking critically and communicating with people, which I think is very vital, especially when you're going out into the workforce, you know, into the real world. You want to be able to understand people and properly communicate. And I think that Medgar, and especially having a liberal arts degree at Medgar, will do that for you.
Mm-hmm. Thank you so much, DJ. Thank you so much. No, Dean, Dr. Castro.
Yes, because one of the why Medgars is this reason. It is the home of the Center for Black Literature.
Yes.
And that really rests, and that's such an opportunity for people in the liberal arts to be exposed to some of the great writers, past, present, and future, and writers that also really understand social justice. As Dr. Snowden said, that's the basis of our college. We also, in all of our schools, but especially in the School of Liberal Arts, is an opportunity for study abroad, all right? An opportunity for you to study on campus and in this urban society in New York, but also study abroad. I know in psychology with Dr. Lashley, I've seen presentations by her students of research that they've done locally and in other countries to improve the quality of life for students. I think we are well known also in terms of opportunities for people in psychology, in English, to have a branch off into graduate study. We have a close relationship with the Hunter School of Social Work. We have a close relationship with NYU and with Columbia. So people leave us and go on to those institutions for graduate work after their undergraduate work. And our students have a good reputation because they're well-grounded and well-prepared. So that's why I'm at this. Thank you.
I couldn't agree more.
Absolutely. And listening to what you're offering, Dr. Castro, I hear the echoes of what Leona offered, and I hear the echoes of what DJ offered. And I also want to share what Dr. Dean Gallagher, what Dr. Dean Ethan Gallagher shares with us, with me via email, as to why a liberal arts degree is because a liberal arts education promotes communication, creation, and social teams, like social working together. A liberal arts degree is not overly specialized. So Dr. Gallagher offers us that since it's not overly specialized, there's more flexibility and fluidity to what a graduate can do with a liberal arts degree, as opposed to if it's very specific. Once you graduate, then you can only go into that area, whereas a liberal arts degree is more diverse in terms of its focus, which is what our panelists have been saying. Dean Gallagher also offers that 80% of employees prefer liberal arts graduates as opposed to graduates of very specific of a very specific focus, and that liberal means freeing, and that's exactly what a liberal arts degree. It enables graduates to be freer to explore, to change directions, and which in this world is absolutely vital. What I'm happy to offer about why a liberal arts degree is the notion that knowledge or information is separate from one another creates so much havoc, and so it creates so many problems, because then we end up becoming more focused on the differences as opposed to the ways in which knowledge and careers and practices really overlap. There's no way I would be an effective social worker if I didn't know some things about geography and location and place and space. There's no way that I could be an effective social worker if I did not know things about psychology and how the brain works and how the mind works, because this is also a part of social work practice. So a liberal arts degree, because of the diversity in terms of what it focuses on, helps students and supports students to develop something called soft skills. And soft skills are mainly the ability to be in conversation, as Leona was talking about, with communication with people that you may feel different from, or you may feel are different than you, and even people that you may feel the same with, but they don't see you the same as you see them, right? So an opportunity to really develop and build common ground, and an opportunity to take your degree and put your own personal stamp on it in terms of what this work looks like for you. With this, Leona, I'm so proud of you, and DJ, I'm so proud of you. And Dean Castro, this is something that you're so great with in terms of all the programs that you oversee. Like, you have your unique style of leadership. You have your unique style of how things can be successful. My own self, with a liberal arts degree, especially and particularly as a social worker, I have to be able to see the commonality and the common ground in any and all differences. This was essential when I was a social worker, a practicing social worker in Senegal, West Africa. This was essential, just as essential as a practicing social worker in Brooklawn, aka Brooklyn. This is essential in the South Bronx. So being able to truly be in this world exactly how it is and build on the common ground. That's why a liberal arts degree. Panelists, is there anything further that you'd like to add on this question before we go on to the next?
Not that I could think of at the
Hello? Hello? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hi, yes, this is Julie. Am I being heard?
Augustine.
Hi. Yes, I just wanted to add to some of the commentary about why a liberal arts degree, specifically at Medgar. Our curricular structure, all of our faculty, because they're still very much involved in their fields, even outside of what they teach in the classrooms, they bring real life experience to all of the lesson plans that they create and present to the students, which is invaluable in things in terms of research that the students would have to do, and also in the formulation of presentations. Presentations and the ability to publicly speak, the ability to present your ideas in a cohesive manner is extremely important, and those are skills that your faculty will be able to help develop within you so that when you go out into your careers, into your workforce or your graduate degrees, you're well prepared to stand toe-to-toe with any and all competition.
Very well and powerfully said, as you usually do, Miss Augustine. So first, this is like my first time really making moves on WebEx like this, and I'm still having a hard time working my chats. So Miss Julie, I didn't see that you had joined us earlier. My deepest apologies. Everyone, I'd like to introduce Miss Julie Augustine, who is actually the original co-host of this program.
Hello.
Would you mind telling us a little bit about yourself, as all the panelists have?
Certainly. Thank you so much, Dr. Snowden and Dr. Castro and DJ. I am sorry as well. I have been listening to the entire presentation thus far, but technological difficulties prevented me from participating. I have over 20 years experience in higher education. I've worked in several of the CUNY institutions. Here at Medgar Evers College, I've worked as a foreign student advisor, recruiter, director of admissions, College Now program. So hopefully some of our listeners have participated in College Now, and also as an academic advisor, and now working in the dean's office. I'm uniquely qualified to help troubleshoot any issues or logistics that a student might go through between your first day of class and your graduation day. So I think I'm uniquely qualified to come and speak on a number of topics. Please send in any questions that you may have about the enrollment process. Additionally, I'd like to add back to the first question that Dr. Snowden posed to the panel as to why Medgar Evers College. One of the issues that I need to highlight is that Medgar Evers College, even within the City University of New York, uniquely offers tutoring services. Our support services at Medgar is, bar none, one of the best amongst even all of our colleagues. We offer free tutoring in almost every single subject that we teach at Medgar. If you have a need and you present it to the director of the Learning Center, he will be able to pair you with an upperclassman who has earned a grade in the class that you have and will work with your professors. Additionally, another thing that's very strong at Medgar Evers College is the support services we provide to our differently abled students. Oftentimes, students, because of peer pressure or stereotypes, refuse to self-identify. If you do have a learning need and you self-identify to the differently abled services department, Medgar Evers College will provide you with a note taker. We'll provide you with individualized tutoring there as well. We'll provide you with technological support systems to include book, chapter, downloading if you need. We'll also offer you services such as help on a one-to-one basis if you need that. Work with us, and the services that you need to make you successful in high school will be provided to you here at Medgar Evers to make you successful as a college student as well.
I actually do want to just comment on what Ms. Julie had just shared. That I can certainly attest to the benefit of a lot of the things that I've taken from my years at Medgar, having public speaking classes and having tutoring and being fortunate to participate in certain programs like the SEEK. I know there's a lot more now, like ASAP and everything else. And it just shows that Medgar is constantly evolving and growing and offering more to their students. But I can definitely say that I've can still to this day recall and use a lot of the skills that I have developed while at Medgar. So go Medgar.
Thank you. That's excellent.
Absolutely, absolutely. Ms. Augustine, Julie, is there anything that you wanted to offer from earlier points of the conversation?
I do. If there's no specific questions from our attendees, but please do keep texting in or typing in your questions and we'll answer them. I'd like to highlight some of our degrees that we offer here in the School of Liberal Arts. We do offer both associate degrees and bachelor's degrees. So similar to your experience in high school where you have more than 40 units to complete in order to earn your high school diploma, as an incoming college student, instead of looking at units, we value credits. So our associate degrees are based on 60 credits that must be completed, and our bachelor's degrees are based on 120 credits that need to be completed. The associate degrees that we offer in Medgar Evers College School of Liberal Arts we have an associate degree in English that offers a concentration in African diaspora literature. And we also offer an Associate of Arts in Liberal Arts, where you can choose a concentration of English, psychology, mass communications, or social and behavioral sciences. Once you've completed your associate degree, you then do have the option of choosing to change your major and continuing to complete a bachelor degree in either English, fine arts, liberal studies, psychology, religious studies, or social work. And uniquely, our social work degree has 3 different concentrations of child welfare, gerontology, or substance abuse. I'm sorry, did someone have a comment?
I was hyping you up, Miss Augustine. I was like, yes, social work, yes, we have these concentrations. And yes, all of these opportunities are available at Medgar. And all of our programs are accredited, right, Miss Julie?
Yes, thank you so much, Dr. Snowden, for mentioning that. We are completely accredited. So accreditation, that's a term that here in the world of higher education we're very familiar with and we strive for, we apply for, and we earn on a regular basis. So for your high school education, your curriculum is supervised and approved by the Department of Education and also by New York State Department of Education. So that's how you know that the history class that you take or your ELA class that you're taking is equivalent to all the other ELA classes in all the other high schools throughout the state of New York. But when you reach the college level, instead of having a Board of Education or Department of Education who reviews the value of your education, we have things called accrediting bodies. The accrediting body for Medgar Evers College and CUNY as a whole is primarily the middle states, right? So middle states here comes in and they reviews and look at our English classes, our math classes, history classes, our English, liberal studies, psych classes, and they say, yes, the way that your faculty, the education your faculty has is the minimum that we're looking for. The curriculum, what you teach the students, the lesson plans that you give them on a class-by-class basis is exactly what they should be having, things of that nature. So Medgar Evers College, rest assured, we have received our accreditation for middle states. Additionally, our individualized programs do have their own regional and national associations that they can apply to for accreditation. In particular for us in the School of Liberal Arts, our social work department, I believe, Dr. Snowden, correct me if I'm wrong, has just re-earned their certification and accreditation for social work. Could you speak more on that?
Yes, we have. So we are accredited by the Council on Social Work Education. And there's a question that we have from a panelist early on in terms of, so what can be done after a person earns a degree at Medgar? So one of the things that can be done is that, especially if it's a bachelor's in social work degree, since it's an accredited program by the Council on Social Work Education, they can then do their master's in 1 year if they have an GPA of about 3.0 and higher. They can then do their master's in 1 year, not 2 years, not 3 years on a good day, 1 year, which saves a considerable amount of money and also a considerable amount of time. Because if we ain't got money, trust we ain't got time. And even if we do have money, we still don't have time, right? So that's one thing to keep in mind. Now, a person can still go into social work for the master's if they don't have that as a bachelor's. It's just some additional time that it'll take. The average is about 2 years or so if they go full time. So, but what's the difference between a bachelor's that is accredited, a bachelor's in social work that is accredited, and a bachelor's in social work that isn't? Well, with an accredited bachelor's like we have, 1 year graduate school. An unaccredited bachelor's in social work, like some other schools have, that's going to be a 2 year focus, which means you really don't get the full benefit of having a BSSW. And if you go to another school, you especially don't get the benefit of having a BSSW within the context of Medgar and everything that we've spoken about so far. So, and also last but not least, the reaccreditation process is every few years. So we don't have to go up for reaccreditation again, I think for another 4 or 5 years. With that, Dean Gallagher is on the phone and would like to share with us a couple of words. Thank you, Javier. Dean Gallagher.
My goodness, I don't know how you knew that.
I don't either.
I don't even know how I did it. But let me just say from the start, I'm sure you can hear me?
Yes.
Not see me? Okay. That I really have to commend all of you on the job that you've just done, not only answering the questions, but addressing the topic and describing the school. I really couldn't have done any more had I been there. I'm sorry not to have been there. I wanted to greet everyone on the panel and the attendees, but I'm glad at least I could do this.
Glad you're here now.
Sorry?
Glad that you're here now.
Oh, I am too. Otherwise, it would have been even more frustrating. But let's use this as an example, by the way, the fact that technology is not always the solution, or at least the people like me who are not so adept at it oftentimes result in having to find an alternative way. So Julie had the trouble, but she managed to get her voice in, and what an eloquent, articulate voice it is. And just the back and forth that's been going on behind the scenes here with our technician, this Mr. Barreto, at least gave me the opportunity to try a phone, which was busy at first because probably Julie was on it, but now apparently it's not. And that kind of adaptation to changing circumstances, my goodness, look around us. The world is drastically changed. And what you were saying earlier, Fabian, about the flexibility that's needed and that comes from a liberal arts degree is absolutely exemplified by the current situation. We have to adapt. And in connection with what Julie was speaking about earlier, the use of experience, counting and experiential learning and prior learning is a big item that will become even more salient after this pandemic is over, because people are forced to do different things. What do you do when you're alone? What do you do when you're isolated? What do you do when you can't not only watch the sport, but play in the sport? Imagine these Olympic athletes who train, and then it's gone. Well, with flexibility, maybe you do apply that sport knowledge to something else. Leona mentioned being on the cycling team, which I was proud to lead for over a dozen years, where you meet international athletes and you'll learn about different ways people prepare. And maybe you do become a coach or a sports writer, or you find other ways to apply the principles of sport to other areas. I mentioned the world. We have a department that I'm not sure anyone mentioned, called World Languages, which used to be and dominated by Spanish and French. But now look at the opportunity. Wouldn't it be interesting if people learn Chinese, which we're trying to serve students with in a course or two, or Arabic, or Swahili, this world has been brought together by this most horrible of events, but in ways it may produce closer ties internationally. We have to know what Wuhan was doing in order to help ourselves. And again, it exemplifies, I think, what the liberal arts really are all about. Other than that, the time at home that we're spending now, wouldn't it be interesting if that could become a very direct experiential learning that you could apply to a degree? Think of parents who have to create new ideas daily for their young children, new games. Or think of just everyone else who's there doing what? Learning how to cook, reading things they never did before, studying history in ways they never imagined. Wouldn't it be interesting to take any one of those, or many more that you could think of, that's taking place during this time, and saying, here's what I think I learned. I think it's equivalent to something in child development. Children, we know, learn much better through the arts than anything else. If they can play games with it, if they can draw with it, well, it's something akin to that happened through this experience. And how I learned to be a master chef during the pandemic, I can see that being the title of a thesis. Applying for graduate credit or undergraduate credit, wouldn't that be nice? Anyway, I've spoken too long, and I just want to reiterate what I said at first. It was a marvelous example each of you gave, Fabian, DJ, Leona, Julie, in how, well, let's say a leader leads best when the people he's been leading can take his place. I'll cite one instance. Toscanini was a great composer and conductor of the Philharmonic. The orchestra, on his 80th birthday, gave him a present. They said, leave the podium. And they played perfectly without him. He had done his job to such an extent so well that they didn't need him. Now, I'm not saying I did this deliberately, but I'm happy to see how much you really didn't need me. You had so incorporated things I really didn't know you could do. The benefits of a liberal arts education, perfectly spoken. How Medgar exemplifies some of that. Yes, it's small. But as a result, much more may happen. You don't get lost, as in the University of Minnesota. And Julie, yes, has been there a number of years, only about half as many as I've been there, but she does her job so well that she's learned twice as much and handles, I think, twice as many of the issues and gives twice as good descriptions as I could. So thank you all.
Thank you, sir. I'd like to add to the Dean's comments about our ability to change and react to changing environments. One of the things that's also part of the School of Liberal Arts and all of our majors is our ability to respond to students' interest. If you have a particular interest and it doesn't exactly appear in any of our degrees, you need to be proactive, bring it to the attention of one of your faculty members, your professors, bring it to a chair or an administrator who you have access to, and express that need, that interest. What we're able to do in the School of Liberal Arts is we have minors that we can add to your degree, which would only add an additional 4 classes, but it provides you an opportunity to explore another subject area that you don't necessarily want to get your degree in, but for future career plans, you would not mind having a basic foundation. You can add a minor in English literature, English writing, philosophy, religious studies, or social welfare. Because in these changing times in the world that we live in, sometimes your career path that you're going for is not so cut and dry. You will need to have, just as Dr. Castro was describing her son's experience as an ADA, yes, he's primarily responsible for knowing and applying the law. However, because of the population he serves, he's finding it also useful to have a basic understanding of social welfare needs. So a few classes in that area, that sensitivity, makes him a more valuable employee in the district attorney's office. So as you get further towards your degree completion, there might be certain skill sets that you discover you might need. Additionally, we also have the ability to provide you with independent study classes. In these independent studies classes, you're able to explore not only your study abroad experience, because it's not just traveling, which is wonderful in and of itself, as Dr. Castro mentioned, but you want to know that your experience in Guadalajara, your experience in Spain, your experience in Africa can now translate and give you credits towards your degree. It's not extra, it's not additional, but it's part of your curriculum. When you select your study abroad class experience, we then will sit with you to ensure that you get 3 to 6 credits. That's 1 to 2 classes while you go for 3 weeks or 4 weeks to another country, have a wonderful experience, but you come back now and you work with your faculty member with whatever research or whatever it is that you're learning over in that foreign country, and you bring that back and enrich your curriculum and your degree here at Medgar. We'll help you achieve that here at the School of Liberal Arts within Medgar Evers College. But again, it's all based on student interest and student need, and most importantly, your ability to be proactive, bring it to our attention so we can help you to achieve your dreams. Dean Gallagher, Dr. Snowden.
I'm here.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Y'all with the original host, y'all feel free to step in at any point in time. So I've been informed that we have Karan Austri that's also here as a panelist. Karan, would you introduce yourself and a little bit about yourself?
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm very happy to be here. I would like to thank our host and everyone else, such as our deans, Dean Dr. Castro and Dr. Bolagor, for setting this up for us. So I've attended Medgar as well. Medgar is my alma mater, proud to be part of it. I also, during my time at Medgar, I studied marketing and film production. Then I joined the CUNY BA program. I graduated with my bachelor's, and then I went on to study my master's at LIU. And at LIU, I studied business management. Education has always been a part of family's legacy, something that stood for, very strict on. It also turns out that it would be part of my contribution to my community, just being an advocate for education and using that as a platform to better the lives in central Brooklyn. So I work at Medgar, and currently we are pioneering a project that's going to build a bridge between our Brownsville community and our Caroline's community. Yeah, so.
Okay, good. There you are. You had, I didn't hear you for a second. I want to make sure you were still with us.
Yeah, I'm here. Thank you.
You were talking about the project in the Brownsville community.
Oh, yeah. So, I mean, I could expand on it. So, we're working with our cornerstones. As you know, in Brownsville, it's a very rough community. Very limited resources as far as personal development. Medgar has the opportunity of changing that by working with some of our community centers. So our Cornerstones gives us direct reach to our community members. And so we have that influence, that strong presence in Browns. And so we've been able to recruit about 40 students into Medgar over the past year. So yeah, that's kind of like the highlights of this.
Can I add something to that? If it's all right, Turan, can I add something to that? So one of the things that we were just talking about is why Medgar, and what Medgar has that's different than other colleges. First of all, it's very cost effective. It's small enough and big enough that people will know you. But surrounding Medgar Evers, we have a community program. We not only serve the 6,000 students at the college, we serve some 30,000 people around the college. We have beacons in 6 public schools. We have cornerstones in the NYCHA housing. Those are after-school programs. We have a YBC that's a program where you can finish your high school diploma at Jefferson High School. We have an EDGE program. If you're a person that was in public assistance and you come to college, there are extra things for you, and you're in our EDGE program. We also have a STEP program that's for science and math. So if you're in the School of Liberal Arts, you can also get practical work. You can get jobs after your school day at the college or on the weekend. Right now, in my offices, which we are doing the EDGE program, as one of 20 different community programs we have, I have 3 social work interns. 3 social work interns who are doing practical work. We also have summer youth employment, and many of the students from the School of Liberal Arts also work and do internships in some of our community programs. So that's another way that you get practical experience. You try different experiences to know in the end, what is your discipline going to be? What are you going to be work at? What do you truly enjoy? So that part becomes very critically important, because sometimes when you're studying, you think you want to do one thing and you may turn out to do another. We also have certification programs. So we have a KSAC certification that is a certified alcohol and substance abuse counselor, which could be an add-on to one of your degrees that you do pursue. So this is an opportunity as you're in the School of Liberal Arts. The other part is that many of the leaders in the student government, we have more than 20 college clubs. So you get an opportunity to join a club of your choice, the social work club, the psychology club, which is very dynamic, 20 different clubs, and those clubs work together, students that are studying a common thing, and they have an advisor, and oftentimes they go to conferences. They're exposed to professionals in the field. We also have a career center that helps you with that. I want to just remind the callers on the phone that the first 25 people who call will be getting a gift card from us. That's part of our incentive program to help people know that we really care about you. And whether you choose us or another school, we're just very grateful that you're here today on this virtual conference. Really happy to be with you, Dean Gulligar, and all of the panelists. Thank you.
Thank you, and I'm happy you were here, or are here. And certainly some of that work experience you describe can be translated into experiential learning and used toward the degree. Not only the certifications, but the experience itself. Fabian, do we have any more questions, Liv?
I don't see any at the moment, but I wanted to add on to Dean Castro on some of what the college offers. So for the Bachelor's in Social Work program, we have a required 2-semester internship that students complete usually in their last academic year. It's this 2-semester internship that enables their final year of the BSSW to count as their first year for their graduate study when they go on for their master's in social work. So this is a very important internship. As the field education director, I guarantee all BSSW students that qualify for internship an internship placement. I will find the placement for students. If I got to beg, borrow, cheat, or steal, the students will have a placement. Fortunately, it never comes to all of that, but all students will have a placement. And it's in this placement, again, standing on the shoulders of Dean Castro, it's in this placement that students have even greater exposure and greater experience, not only in social work, but really just working with people. And it's where students identify whether or not they really want to go into social work. Now, what ends up happening is generally all of the students go into social work. However, they go into different aspects of social work, whether it's social work research or social work with children, social work with substance use and misuse, gerontology, which means working with older adults. They have a clearer vision of where they want their internship to be. But this is actually our second internship. Our first internship is 15 hours for the entire semester for our class called Social Work 331, macro level social work, which is social work practice with organizations. So in the social work program, students have 2 opportunities for internships. Now, the 331 internship, they find themselves. However, the instructor of the course is a strong support in identifying leads and supporting the students to contact agencies. Thank you.
Yes, and I might add that we are seeking and getting a lot more internships, not just in social work, but through the auspices of our center that Dr. Roberson leads, looking for employment. So she's been working on that. I think this is great. I think our hour is up, which we were suggesting at the beginning, and I know at least Leona has to run off to one of her 2 jobs. So, Fabian, you've done such a good job. Maybe you can draw us to a close.
Sure. But Miss Julie Augustin, was there something that you wanted to add?
Yes, thank you. I wanted to make sure that we finished completely answering that student's question earlier with what can the degree from the School of Liberal Arts lead to. So primarily it can lead to graduate work. You'll absolutely be able to apply to your master's degree education or your doctoral degree education. Specifically, if you're interested in our English bachelor's degree, it can lead you to diverse fields such as teaching, publishing, professional writing, public relations work. You can go into, as Dr. Castro mentioned, use your English degree to go into law, business, medicine, or creative writing. Our bachelor's in fine arts can assist you with careers as artistic directors, speech and play writers. Actually, one of our faculty members actually just had one of his most recent plays opening happen during this pandemic, and we can't wait till it's over so we can attend and support him. You can also become a film and video director, post-production editors, digital and graphic publication editors, graphic artists with conventional and contemporary studio skills, advertising specialists, performing artists, set designers for performances, dance choreographers, studio musicians, dancers, and so forth. Our philosophy and religion department has an articulation agreement with New York Theological Seminary, so you can benefit from that partnership we have there. Our psychology degree will assist you in graduate education as a clinical or counseling services, personality, social, developmental, sports psychology, community psychology, biological health, cognitive, environmental and forensic psychology, industrial and organizational psychology. And it also can assist you for pre-professional training in careers in health, education, urban affairs, government, and industry. Basically, anything that, any position, career that's out there that you can think of, a degree from the School of Liberal Arts will assist you in obtaining it. Please reach out to us with any questions. Come on in, join Medgar, and find out for yourself.
Absolutely. And with that said, attendees, might you, oh wait, am I interrupting somebody? My apologies. Okay, with that said, attendees, might you have any last final questions? All right, well, if you have any other questions that we have, oh, by all means. Dean Castro, did you want to offer something?
No, I'm wishing everyone just the best of luck and wishing them they do very, very well. And please come to college. It's a wonderful school, very nurturing. Everybody here, you can see how enthusiastic we are, and there's a lot to offer. And it's a journey. A college education is a journey, but you can be successful. We're going through a difficult time, and I bet a lot of people who did liberal studies and helping to solve the problems that we're in right now. And we will do well. We welcome you to come to the college. We're looking forward to having you here. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dean Castro. I want to take a second and thank all of our panelists. I want to thank IT. I appreciate y'all so much. We appreciate y'all and your support so much. And attendees, thank you so much for your interest in Medgar.
Please
For
accept
me, there's only one choice, but I get it. It's not my choice, but there's only one choice. With that said, panelists, any final words? DJ, Leona, Ron?
Please
No, I
accept
think
email mecadmissions@mec.cuny.edu. Join us in the fall.
couldn't have been said better.
Thank you, Leona. Thank you, Ms. Augustine. DJ, any final words? Or Karan?
I would just
Stay
say
healthy.
go, you know.
Stay sane.
Wait, before Dean Galgor, DJ was saying some final words.
Yes, I would just say for anyone interested in a liberal arts degree, Medgar is the place to come to. So come along and we'll be here. I mean, some of us are graduating, but we're always coming back to support and talk. So we will always be here for you guys.
Thanks so much, DJ. Dean Galgor and then Karan.
I'll say it again. Try to stay healthy and sane.
Yeah, well, I just want to thank everyone for attending. And yeah, stay safe and healthy. Any updates, please stay on the Medgar's website for all updates. Thank you.
Thank you so much. My name is Dr. Fabienne Snowden from the Social Work Department. I hope to see y'all soon. Thank you.
Take care, everyone.
Okay,
Bye, everybody.
bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Bye.